All right, Karen, you're up. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, just going to share a few financial aid things that's helpful this time of season, I hope. So let's see, I'm putting some information into the chat so that you don't feel like you need to take notes. And I'll also send it to Juan for afterwards. So to start, it's verification season. So that's something you should be aware of when working with students, is that they've hopefully by now submitted FAFSA, or going to, ideally by the May 1st mass grant deadline. But if they haven't yet, or once they have, just be aware, making sure the student is checking for verification. So checking their student portal, checking their emails to see if they're being requested for any like tax documents or anything like that. I put a couple links. So for the tax transcript ordering online through the IRS, as well as the 4506T, that's the form that you use to request verification of non-filing. So if anyone did not file taxes but is being asked for proof of that, that is the form that the student needs to print out, and you'll probably need to help them fill it out because it's a little bit confusing if anyone's done it before. So yeah, verification season, be aware of that. Reach out to me if you see any odd requests or things you're not sure about. And then it's also, we're coming up on aid offer review season, so students will be probably in the next few months receiving their financial aid offers for the following year. And I've mentioned this before, but USFire has a new tool called the College Cost Calculator that can help students compare their aid offers if they have multiple, or even if they just have one, can help them learn a bit more about like what types of aid they have and estimate what their bill will be for the fall. I think for returning students, we don't always see this as very important, but I think this year more than most, it might be important to have students use this. And the reason for that is because, you know, some students might not have been paying for housing and like living on campus costs. Like, you know, they might be living at home this year, but next year plan to live on campus. So that could be a good tool to use with them. And then another thing to be aware of is, as you know, many students' families experience a decrease in income in 2020. But the FAFSA is based on the 2019 taxes. So if you have a student where you think they might be eligible for more aid based on a changed income, you may want to help support them doing an appeal for more financial aid. And there's a tool I linked there called Swift Student that is basically just like a faster way to be able to fill out and to write an appeal letter to a school. So it does all the fancy formatting and stuff so students don't have to. So that could be helpful as well. Let's see, I'm just pasting more things into the chat. So here are USFire's upcoming events. These are like webinars, student and family facing webinars. So if they want to get an overview of how to do FAFSA, if they want to get an overview of how to review their student aid report on their FAFSA, there's different events for that. And then I also just have a couple of FYIs. These are not like crucial to your advising right now, but I know people like to just sort of be aware of what's coming up in financial aid. So I think as Joelle had sent out, there are FAFSA changes that are coming, but they're not until the 2023 to 2024 school year. So that FAFSA will open up like a year and a half from today. So you don't need to be like super in the weeds on this now, but if you're interested to know about how they're getting rid of EFC and changing it to a different term, you can go to that website to read some of the details, and I'd be happy to talk one-on-one with anyone who's curious. And then another FYI is federal student aid was planning to require something that's called the annual student loan acknowledgement. This is a new process for basically, you may know that students only need to do like loan paperwork before they enter their first year usually. Usually they only have to do it right before their freshman year. but they were adding a new process where every year a student is going to need to acknowledge the loans they have. They need to say like, yes, I know I took this much in federal loans and I acknowledge that. And they need to do that in order to get loans for the next year. So they were going to launch this process this summer, but they decided not to. So it's not required for students to fill this out, but it will be in the future. I'm guessing for like next year, most likely. But just in the case, if you see, I think colleges can ask students to do this, even though it's not technically required to get their loans. So if you see anything about the annual student loan acknowledgement, just be aware of kind of what it is, and feel free to email me with any questions. But yeah, those are my updates for today. I know we don't have time for Q&A, so feel free to email or chat me any questions, and I can follow up with you individually or with the group if I think it's helpful to the whole group.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, that was awesome. And that Swift, what is it called? The Swift Student Appeal Form, but that's been really useful for one of my students who's been appealing. So yeah, definitely recommend that for anyone who hasn't tried it out. All right, and then coming up, we have the TFCC application period. I think they were here last month, but just a reminder for anyone who was not here with our meeting, TFCC is open for the fall, and the application is going to be due in June 20th. But there's also a couple more schools that have been added this past year. So Benjamin Franklin, Urban College, Boston, Massasoit. So if you have any students who are thinking of attending those institutions, they can, go to school for free if they meet the eligibility requirements. So make sure to share that with your students. It's pretty simple. They got videos and English and Spanish on how to do it. So definitely a good resource for anyone who's interested. But wanted to make sure that we had that to share. And then we're up for our alternate pathways. So just gonna ask the folks who are gonna be here, do you all need to share screens, or is it just gonna be speaking?
I don't need to share my screen.
I was just gonna talk.
Okay. And then Carla. Okay. All right. I think we can go for it. So we're gonna have Duet Year Up, Mass Bio Ed Apprenticeship, and then Year 13 talking to us. And really excited about all of these programs. They have some new interesting things to share, and I'll let them launch into it. Oh, Sarah does need to share her screen, so I'll make sure to give you co-host privileges, Sarah. But I think we can launch out with Chris.
Good morning, everyone. So I'll be really quick. Duet is a nonprofit organization that partners with Southern New Hampshire University. We provide an online competency-based curriculum, so it allows students to complete projects and really focus in on completing projects rather than sitting and spending time in the classroom. The idea is that as soon as students complete projects, they pass their classes and they can keep taking classes in that semester, so that they're able to do more and take more classes during a semester and not pay per class. So you pay once. The cost of attending Duet in Southern New Hampshire University is $2,332 a semester. As you all know, the Pell Grant increase. So if a student who is full Pell eligible, the out-of-pocket is $168. Students can pay $41 a month and have no debt going into college. So it makes it really affordable. And then the other big news is that we are partnered with the Shapiro Foundation and the Fish Family Foundation, and they are offering 25 full tuition scholarships for DACA and TPS students. So if you know anybody who is interested in completing their college degree, if money is an issue because they cannot access loans, it's a really simple, it's a 100-word essay they have to write about why this would change their life or how this could really help them get their college degree. It is open to anyone who has attended any of the local community colleges. So if they want to get their bachelor's degree, they can also come in and transfer those credits. Most of those associate's degrees transfer in, especially if they've met all their general ed requirements. They can come in and get their bachelor's degree for the same cost. And the Fish Family Foundation is actually encouraging more of the students who have, really hustled and were able to get those bachelor's degrees at those community colleges to continue on their education and come in and get their bachelor's degree, and they would pay for it. So it's a really quick essay they have to write. You can access it through our website, and just in the little what you need to know, just put Fish Family Foundation and we can connect you. And the scholarship is done through them, so everything goes through them, but we can facilitate it and make recommendations. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, and I know I'll make sure to share everybody's email and contact info afterwards. So if people do have questions, you can feel free to put them in the chat right now. But definitely we'll be able to contact Chris or other folks that do it later. And I think Defina, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, a lot of people on this. All right.
No problem. Europe is a nonprofit workforce development program. It is a one-year commitment for young adults between the ages of 18 and through recent changes through 26. So people may be familiar with our 24, but due to COVID, we did an age expansion to 26, meaning that they can apply to at 26 and can still do the program at 27. In the first 6 months of the program, they are learning technical and soft skills in a classroom setting, and then they expand their knowledge through a corporate internship. They do earn a stipend with us while they're in the program, and they're earning up to a year of college credits if they're connected to the Roxbury Community College location, or college credit recommendations if they're only connected to our downtown location. Success after that year is extremely high, with about 90% of graduates within 4 months seeing outcomes for a full year job opportunity, or even pursuing school, and some are doing a combination of the two. And the starting average salary of those jobs tends nationally is about $42,000 a year, but definitely skews larger depending upon just the industry and the right job opportunity. The support that's connected to them while they're in the program is, of course, instructors and coaching that they receive from staff while they're in the program. We also have a team of social workers. Specifically, we call them our student services team. And so if they need to be connected to eligible resources in the area, we can connect them to that as well. And then the support continues in terms of not only the instruction that they're receiving, specifically geared towards soft skills and career development, they're also going to still be receiving support through the job search and pursuing higher education through our employment placement team, not only during the year while they're in the program, but for a considerable amount of months afterwards if they still haven't arrived to a positive outcome. And we do have a sibling for-profit branch, which is UPro, which is essentially a talent agency that is only for Year Up alums. And that means that we're focused on the continuous development and growth of our alums, as long as they are willing and able to reach out to us for that further career development, interview, coaching, etc.
That is awesome. I did not know about that UPro thing. That I think
Yes.
that's something that everyone's trying to do more work on, with the supporting the young people once they do get that job and continue on their career. So yeah, glad to hear that Europe is also starting to do that.
Yeah, UPro is very exciting. It just won some awards this past year for their work.
Awesome. Thank you. And then next up, we have Sarah from, oh no, sorry, we have Carla from the Mass Bioed Apprenticeship. See, Carla, are you able to?
Yep, I'm here.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. And thanks for letting us speak here today. So yes, Mass Bioed is launching 2 apprenticeships right now. They're actually the first 2 registered apprenticeships in the life sciences ever. But we are in full launch for the first one, which is for biomanufacturing technicians. We're actively interviewing people right now. So if you have clients who you think might be interested in good candidates, I would definitely encourage you to send them our way as soon as possible. The program is basically, it's a 17-month program. the way it works is we Mass Bio Ed will be recruiting individuals. They have to take a TABE test. We want to just get a baseline understanding of their basic math, reading, language skills. They'll go through a behavioral interview with us. We'll ask for a resume. They do need to be able to work in the US legally without sponsorship if they're foreign born. And all they need is a high school diploma. We are not requiring a college degree or anything. But that being said, if people have some college education, that wouldn't disqualify them either. Once we vet the candidates, we will actually present them to our employer partners, and the employers will go through their own interview process. No one will be admitted into the program until an employer gives them a job offer. So they'll have the job offer, they'll know where they're going before they even start the program. Then they have 20 weeks of really intense education, and that's going to be at Northeastern University. They'll learn all the basics of biology and the chemistry they need to know, as well as get some real excellent hands-on experience in the Northeastern's Biopharmaceutical Laboratory in Burlington. At the end of that 20 weeks of education, they will transition into a full year of on-the-job training. They will be a full employee of their host employer. As an apprenticeship, the employers can pay a reduced salary based on what a typical entry-level technician would get, but that salary is increased over the course of the year. And then at the end, the expectation is obviously that they will just be retained as permanent employees. But during that year, they get benefits. They'll get health insurance, employer-sponsored health insurance. They'll get paid time off, paid holidays, things like that. The employers are also providing a $1,000 a month stipend during the 5 months of education. There will be time for them to work a part-time job, but we want them to definitely have time to really devote to their studies. So there's that stipend also. I'll just stop there to see if anybody has any questions.
I also put the website in the chat so folks can go there and take a look at some of the opportunities that Mass Bio Ed has. And yeah, these apprenticeships can really open a lot of doors for these young people. So definitely, don't know if folks have any questions or.
Yep.
All right. I think people are probably still looking at the website, but
yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. But I'm also going to put in an email address if anybody wants to get more information, or if you want to just share this with people, that's great too.
Thank you. I was just about to ask, so you read my mind. Appreciate that, the contact info for that. I know that's always really important for the coaches to know a little bit more about what they're getting their students into before they send them somewhere. All right, thank you. And then Sarah from year 13, who really interesting program that's been launching, and I believe you have the ability to share your screen. All right, thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces on the call. We've been out and about in schools and community organizations this last month presenting. So if you've already heard this, chime in. We launched year 13 last summer. So we are kind of a newish program here in the Boston area. And we are really an early college pathway trying to close the gap between high school and the future of work here in the city. We're a nonprofit and we're really driven by this data. And we are really aiming to open up access for groups that are vastly underrepresented in the Massachusetts tech economy. So we're, only 7% of Latinx make up the innovation economy, or 5% Black, 33% women. We're explicitly focused on getting students into the innovation economy and into high wage jobs. I'm sure this is no surprise, but we launched this in Boston because as we looked across the Commonwealth, we saw that Boston is really behind, even though we are a resource-rich city. And the number of students, whether they're in high school or recent graduates, have access to participate in early college. And early college to us is really no-cost college credits that allow students to test out some of these highly technical fields and then get on the pathway to earn a credential. I'm going to kind of move through because I know one of the things that's a little bit different, we are kind of an early college exploratory pathway. We launched year 13 because we saw that within our Boston high school, students sometimes do not have the opportunity to explore some of the areas that we work in. I'm going to show you what those areas are. So we're explicitly focused on 3 areas that kind of branch out into a number of areas. So architecture and construction technology, engineering technology that can include everything from robotics to industrial engineering, CAD designing, 3D printing, digital fabrication, and then computer science, thinking about cybersecurity, AI, machine learning, VR. All of these things are exploding here in the city. We often say, you know, the average Amazon worker makes about $160,000 a year. But we don't see that everyone has access to get into that pathway. So it is an opportunity for students to explore these emerging technologies, to kind of understand, you know, where they would want to be in the innovation economy. And then our goal is to open as many doors as possible so that they can get on that pathway to get to that high wage job. A few unique things is students emerge with a digital portfolio. We found that the digital portfolio has a lot of currency in the innovation economy, and it can open a lot of doors. But they'll also emerge with college credits. They could emerge with industry recognized credentials and different pathways. In our first year, I'll just go back here. In year 1, we only took 24 students in our first pilot. We launched this in partnership with the Wentworth Institute of Technology. So already we have 19 of the students have received the presidential scholarship from Wentworth, amongst other colleges, Northeastern, BU, all over the place. Actually, a student is waiting on their Harvard acceptance tomorrow. One of our students got a full ride to Wentworth just yesterday and is going into software engineering, going to be the next great mobile app developer here in the city. 96% of this cohort identifies as Black or Latinx. And then we do have students, we get this question a lot, about 30% of our students had an IEP in high school or identified as an English language learner. We do not look for any specific profile. We're looking for students who know that they want to innovate and they want to be at the intersection of design and technology. We don't consider grades. However, we do ask that they identify a champion in their application. And that champion can be anybody from a teacher to an aunt to a cousin. Students, I nominate other students. Someone that's going to support them through this year-long pathway. It is almost 4 semesters. They'll start this summer on July 6th. We're planning to be all in person this summer, and we will support students both through the FAFSA process and getting vaccinated so that they can be in person with us this summer. They continue into the fall and the spring. And we've, like all of you, we've designed this program to be extremely flexible. There are on and off ramps along the way. And then they can end after their spring with an intense summer tech apprenticeship as they take their next on-ramp. And the on-ramp can be, you know, to finish their associate's degree, to get an industry recognized certificate, to do their full bachelor. Each student's pathway is very unique based on their passions and purpose. So it looks a little bit different for each of our kind of fellows. This is, I can send you this afterwards. I know we don't have much time, but we really believe in developing students as creative problem solvers. So they're both developed as and practicing these mindsets and these core concepts. And then each of our students comes out with a technical craft, an area of emerging technology that they're developing and heading into the field. So our last, you know, we accept seniors, so they're rising juniors and recent graduates. So we do have students right now that are both earning their high school diploma and have earned over 24 college credits at no cost. So that's something to note. And students can be enrolled in their home high school and in our pathway at the same time. We work very closely with the superintendent and her team to ensure that students get both. And students can earn and learn while in their pathway. So you'll see here our first summer studios. They're 4-week immersives. We do them kind of short. We found that this works best where they immediately jump into one of these 4 studios. They'll earn a $1,500 stipend. It's about 140 hours of instruction from 9 to 5. And our studios are held across the city. So the architectural and construction studio will be held at the Boston Society of Architects this summer. Students will be working with the mayor's office to design and prototype affordable housing modules for vacant lots here in the city. So it is really extremely hands-on. They'll actually design on paper, then bring it into software, and then I build a prototype for the city. So our idea is to, kind of fully immerse so that they can see these different pathways. I'm gonna pause there to see if folks have any questions. I'll also send along these slides so you can dig in or share them with members of your team. We have info sessions every Wednesday at 2 for prospective students and their families. You can just drop in and join us. We have one this afternoon at 2 o'clock. And I will put in my email address if you need that link. You can also find it on our Twitter and Instagram too.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I think, this would be a great time for folks to ask questions of any of our panelists. I know we have about 5 to 10 minutes of a Q&A for folks. So if you have any questions for Chris, Tafina, Carla, or Sarah, feel free to either put them in the chat or unmute yourself and, just ask away.
A question on the chat. In the chat, this is Jamie from Crossroads. I just wanted to know, is this for Boston public school graduates only, or could this be for Boston residents who go to charter schools, Catholic schools, Metco schools, etc.?
Great question. So it is for any Boston resident. So we do have students applying from charter schools, the public schools as well. And I saw another question. They can have college credit and still participate.
Is it all right if I stop sharing the screen? Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else? All right, well, we have the contact information in the chat, so if folks do have questions that they think of after this meeting, you can feel free to reach out. But some really interesting programs. They're doing awesome work. Thank you, everybody who presented. Seems like everybody's doing some interesting innovation, either with DACA students or building their current talent. And these tech internships and apprenticeships are really helpful for our young people, since most of our students are Black or Latinx. It's important to open these pathways for them and see what we can do to get them and their families into good financial positions. So I really appreciate our panelists. And I think our last one, we have Alberto from Boston Bills Credit, who's just going to give us a quick update on their work and who they've been reaching out to. And I'll give it all to you. Thank you.
Can I share for a second screen? Okay, thank you. Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Alberto. It's so nice to see some of the faces that I met months ago. Thanks again for inviting us again. So I just want to give you a little what's going on in the last couple weeks. So Just try to open this. Okay, so as may don't know us, so our initiative is called the Community College Credit Building Initiative. We are under the umbrella of Boston Buildings Credit. We have been offering comprehensive credit building services to young adult Bostonians at Bunker Hill at Roxbury Community College since last January. This spring, we started extending our services to students that are, in this community. So as well, we just start partnering with the Benjamin Franklin Institute, and also we extending our services to all the participants that they are in the Success Boston College Competition Initiative through Boston Foundation. So one of the things that we done very cool that last past week is that we did some, we did a presentation, we delivered a financial webinar at the Level Ground organization. So that's another way that we want to share with you, because we just not only provide financial services or financial services to students at college. We also offer any of these, services to all those organizations that are working with students that are on the path to get there, to get a college. So I'm so excited to hear about GR13. I would love to speak with you guys more in details. We've been working with GR App in the last 6 months. So a lot of folks from GR App has been enrolled in our services, and we are working with them and deliver the financial webinars and also the financial coaching. That's one of the most important. We're here to help students to understand the basic of credit, and help them to, build with them the financial skills and get control of their finances. That's kind of our goal. And I think, and I heard from you guys, a lot of information for education. They are getting so good skills to get a job. But what happened when they start making money and they need to know how can manage very wisely? So that is our goal, to make sure that when they start making money, they can thinking, okay, that is the money that I'm going to kind of put aside for savings, for start building my credit, start building some goals for buy a house. I don't know, that's kind of the idea. So I just want to share with you our last template. Just want to make sure that I can. So this is sharing. So the sharing screen is not there. So I just want to make sure that's there. So this is our template for this month. So I just want to focus on the next kind of interesting week. So as you know, maybe you don't know, this April is the National Financial Literacy Month. So everybody across the nation is talking about financial literacy. So we want to kind of honor that particular month, and we create these kind of crash courses that we reduce our webinars from 60 minutes to 30 minutes. And we just open these kind of in different hours, mostly like kind of 5 o'clock. That's different topics. So that's the financial management on Monday, as well as strategies for perfect credit score on Tuesdays, on Wednesday, talking about taxes, and we kind of wrap on Thursday about financial tips. And also we are going to launch our fact sheets that I just want to kind of share with you very quickly how it looks. This is an idea of the fact sheet that we want to launch for next week. So this is, there you go. And this is kind of the idea, our fact sheet about credit. So we want to start launch those with more topics about that. It's coming the collections, it's coming for the debt, it's coming for tips for savings as well. Yeah, so that is my kind of updates. I will get back to you by email and share with you our templates. and I hope you can share with all your students our services. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to put in the chat my email if you want to reach me and ask any questions. Oh, I'm here if you want any questions. So I'm going to close this.
There you go, Alberto. Yeah, Alberto and Jamie were able to talk to the Student Leadership Council earlier this week, last week, I forget already when it was.
Yeah, last week.
Last week, and yeah, I think a few of them are already talking to some of their friends to get connected with this. So very happy to keep talking about you all, and really, it's really important to get some financial literacy training for these young people. So yeah, happy to feature you all. Alberto, if you can, just make sure to include your contact information in the chat, or I can also email it in the notes later because I do have it. But thank you to everybody who presented and all our presenters. I'll make sure to share the recording afterwards on YouTube and your contact info in the notes so folks can reach out with questions if they do have anything later. And we're going to be transitioning to our final portion of our agenda. So it's going to be our Salesforce training. So people are free to head back to their lives, their warm days. But if you are a Success Boston coach, or if you are interested in learning about Salesforce and how we do that here in Success Boston, you can stick around. Some of it might go over your head, unfortunately, since it's a little bit, it can get a little in the weeds. But yeah, I think that's, I'll let people self-select if they want to leave, and I'll start in a minute or two. All right, I think we are good. Yeah, people are starting to head out. All right, so I'll start sharing my screen over here. All right, and people, feel free to stop me whenever you have questions or anything. I will be showing only very few videos. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to be doing going over some basics. So we're going to be going over the dashboard, which is what you see here. Going to go over some student profiles. So just, you know, what the profile includes, what information we track, how you can access that. Then we're going to go into some reports. So going to go into this fun tab with all these different reports that people have created in the past, and some that I have created, some that other people have. Then going to go into some data visualization. So how to create these fun looking graphs and charts, and then the data supplements. So those are specific to our partners and grantees. So talking about how to keep track of progress, persistence, performance metrics, and all that fun stuff. But yeah. First off is just a dashboard. So this is the dashboard that I have for mine. This is the default one that I created for everybody. So, but you can always modify it to something that you would want. Pretty much it creates data visualizations or charts or graphs, whatever you want to call them, of reports that you want to look at. So like myself, I want to look at transition supports by month, how many students don't have any transition supports, what's the current class number at, where our students are at, and things of that nature. So that's what I have. And every time you open this, you have to make sure to refresh it to keep it up to date, but you do have to have some reports to base it off of. And I find this really useful just to see what's going on, and like making sure that we, like our March transition supports aren't due until next week. So we're still, I'm like, all right, that's fine. Our March supports are down, but we still haven't gotten them in. So not too worried about that. But that's just how I keep track of a few things. Don't know if people have questions on that. No? All right. I don't know where the chat is. My Zoom went. So if you are asking questions in the chat, just speak up because I have no idea. Let's see where the hell it is. All right, no one's asking. Good. All right, then student profiles. So I'm just gonna go to a student that hasn't put anything in yet, but recently applied on the intake form. So this is a blank profile, but this does include a lot of good information for later. So has a lot of basic demographic information. So usually what organization they're linked with. So for this one, they are a pathway student with Socio Latina. So they're going to be working with them. What high school they attended, where they want to go to college, the cohort, age, place of birth, gender, ethnicity. And then we have some more good information for recruitment, which is going to be what's going to be happening these next couple of months until the fall. So what status they're in. So this is pretty important for tracking students. So like, are they in recruitment, or if they apply to Hyde Square but they actually can't work with them because of some other reason, like, oh, Joel can be like, oh, they need to be reassigned, and I'll make sure to keep track of that and say, oh, well, maybe they can work with Westside House or someone else. So all these options are really useful for folks to keep track of, to make sure that I'm able to support all the students that do show interest in Success Boston, the ones that we do recruit. The recruitment cohort, so this class of 2021 is 07. This duplicate prospect section, so if students are double dipping, or not double dipping, but they have connections with multiple organizations, making sure to click that off so we can check on that. And then we also have some admission status updates boxes, fields for Bunker Hill, BFIT, and UMass Boston, who do provide some updates on that end. Oh, nothing? All right. College Advising Corps also provides us data on what the student is doing, what their plans are for this next year. Undecided, 2-year, 4-year, 2 or 4-year, other, and then no data. Most of the time they have some data for all of their students, but we're still waiting on that. And then they do have a lot of good information on, like, okay, student ID, how many applications they did, oftentimes the FAFSA as well. And then just high school information, GPA, college, demographic, the TFCC plan. So if they do apply for TFCC, our TFCC partners are able to give us information on, okay, they applied, they have been accepted, when was their first semester, which college they're in, all that stuff. So that's also good to keep track of. And then some other things are just like some analysis and accountability that do get automatically calculated depending on transition supports and all that. But because the student is new, they have zeros on this end. Yeah, just
one quick question.
Yes, sir.
On the sections where it's the BFIT, UMass, or Bunker Hill admission status, as well as the TFCC, is that information put in by the colleges and TFCC or other coaches?
This is put in by our higher ed liaisons. So they give me updates every semester to see, or not like at the beginning of right before, to see who has been admitted. And I asked them to just make sure to update that on their end, and then you can check on your student to see if that is what the case, or you can also run a report to look at your cohort and see which of the students have this selected as accepted, or pretty much anything other than none. and that will like, okay, they're accepted, but they still need placement testing, or they're missing transcripts, something like that, you know?
Thank you.
I think the coaches, I'm not sure, I don't even think they can edit these fields. So you might not even be able to, but yeah.
One, and that is for like a point in times, right? Like that is when they first come in as, well, yeah, they're uploaded as high school seniors. So that's not going to be updated any other time, correct?
So sometimes it does get updated multiple times, because we do have students who, for example, start at Bunker Hill, are there for one semester, maybe two, and then they go to BFIT. And so sometimes we have students who have both Bunker Hill admitted, accepted, or whatever, and then also BFIT or UMass Boston, you know? So it can get updated multiple times. I think I do need to add another field underneath. It does get a little messy because I don't want it to be, because it's already a lot of stuff. And if I add more fields, it'll be like, okay, what semester were they admitted to Bunker Hill? What semester were they admitted to BFIT? So if that is useful, then I can add that, but I'm not sure if that would be useful. But if it is, I'll take a note and add that for sure.
Okay, that's helpful, because I always thought like maybe they applied to BFIT and Bunker Hill and UMass Boston, versus I wasn't thinking like maybe this is for a different semester.
Hi, Portia. Hi, Juan. It's Kate.
Hello.
At Bunker Hill, what I try to do, because I go back and forth between our data program and Salesforce with our students, so I always check, and the field I use is enrolled. So because everyone's accepted to Bunker Hill, so that doesn't really help you. But when they're enrolled, John had given me the ability to change that. So sometimes there are students who aren't enrolled until the spring, or so if the coaches see somebody who is enrolled and I haven't changed it, please let me know, because we really want to keep a clean list of who is at Bunker Hill. But that's the only field that I edit.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, and I usually also do update something here in the recruitment note where I just put BHCC enrolled fall 2020 or whatever the semester. So I try to keep that up to date as well. But there's a lot, so sometimes it does fall through. But yeah, make sure to, if something does fall through, just email me and I can figure something out to update. Any more questions on the profiles? We can. So I guess these aren't filled either, but this is where we keep track of college enrollment history. So each semester, keeping track of, which semester they're in right now, GPA, credits, where they're at, enrollment, if they're doing full-time, part-time, and then degree goal. And here is, yes.
I was just gonna say, is there a suggestion to add, you see how you have degree earned checkbox? Is there a section to add for each one, a checkbox for Dean's List, as well as SAP or probation, just so that way we can keep track of that when we run a report?
Dean's List, SAP, and probation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. That shouldn't be hard. Okay, but I will make sure to do that. And there's other suggestions I can add to the fields here. That's not a problem. And now if you do click on this degree earned here, it automatically populates back in the profile, the main page right here where it says degree earned. It would show as checked off. So you wouldn't have to go into like each enrollment history to see like, oh, this is the student graduate. It would just be filled in here. But it does require the coach to fill that in into at least one of the enrollment histories. So something that we were able to figure out. after talking to my Salesforce person at TVF. So that was took a little while, but it was good. All right, so now we'll get into reporting. So there's a lot of public reports that people have shared that you can access and edit to whatever you want to do. So like, for example, I created one for Fafsa 2021-2022 completion. And everyone should be able to access this. And this pretty much, let's undo this. It shows like, because only these orgs have been checking off those boxes, those are the ones that come up. So if you do want to keep track of FAFSA completion on Salesforce, that would require additional data input. So it does require that. I know you all keep track of it on your own as well, but because this isn't something that we've been requiring recently, some orgs don't do it, some do. So that's how it is. But that's something that you can do and edit to your own organization or something else. So there's that one. There was also young men of color that we were also trying to track. Since that was something that we started, we're trying to be have more of an emphasis on supporting young men of color. Not subtitles. Trying to do not. Like supporting more young men of color and how many we just the number of students that are part of our cohort, since those young people are usually the ones that don't graduate high school as much as their peers, don't go to college, don't finish college in the same numbers as their peers. So trying to just get more of those students to be part of our program to support them. And this is what we've been doing. And I mean, I don't have to tell all of you that this year, even fewer young men of color applied to college and got in. And then this past year, and then this year is going to be even worse for that. So just trying to keep going at it, keep grinding at it, and see what we can do for those students. But this is one of the reports that I created to keep track of all that for young people. So that's something that you all are able to access as well, I believe. It should be a public report. Then there's another one that I created for under 2.0 GPA. Where the heck is that? Yeah, GPA check. So this, again, all these are pretty much dependent on data input. So if you do have, if you're putting information on students, and like you can see the number of students who have above a 2.0 GPA, don't have one, or just don't have any information. And then you can check just the numbers and see like, oh, wow, we have this many students who don't have above a 2.0. We need to check in on those students. And then you can like click on that, and that would send you to the list of students who are like that. I'm not going to click on anything because I don't want to call anybody out, but that's just what we've been doing. And then the other one I went through FAFSA supports, young men of color, and then okay. So that's what that was. All right, let's do this one. So any questions on reporting or on editing? Should I go try to edit a report to see how that looks on that end? All right. All right, so when it does come up, you just go to edit and let it load, because it does take a little while. But here you see the craziness that is all the columns, and oh, just trying to move it and went back. All right. All the records and all the data fields that we keep track of, at least for this report. So here we have it grouped by transition organization and then by cohort. So it's like a little umbrella. The biggest umbrella is a transition org, and then underneath that is each cohort. And then the columns, the fields that we're keeping track of, student, high school, which college they're at, gender, which has to be male for this one, which you filter here. So this is pretty much how I filter it. And then because we're only keeping this one is cohort 5, cohort 6. That's a cohort, and then confirm, etc. But some other fields that I keep track of, just like this one, I probably shouldn't need. But the hours of support, how many supports they received this semester, total supports overall, how they got into the program, and then when's the most recent support they received. But that's a pretty basic report. And then you can add different columns. Like, would there be something else that you would want to see on this report? Like I think you could do Fafsa if you want. Yeah, Fafsa status. And then you would just scroll to the right. And this one, because they don't have it populated, it doesn't show up anything. So that I can just remove the column. But yeah, that's pretty basic of this. I don't know if there's any specific questions on editing reports. We're trying to do something with this. All right.
When I have a quick question.
What's up?
With the Fafsa status,
yeah,
sometimes I feel like there's like different wording for different things. So I wonder if like if that makes a difference. I don't know if it would make a difference for this particular report, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pulling from a different field.
I think it might be pulling from different fields. So I'll check to see where these are, because I know we have where is this? Financial aid awards. And so I pull from here from Fafsa. This might be the Fafsa completion. But I'll double check to see where that one pulls from and to see which is the most appropriate to pull for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that does get frustrating. So I do apologize where there's like a lot of fields. So sometimes you think you're pulling the correct information, but it just like doesn't populate anything because it's something that was created way back in the day that we stopped using because it was just like too much information to keep track of. So we try to just narrow it down to some of the more important things. Yeah. Is there anything else on this? I was going to jump into data visualization, but feel free to shoot questions.
Can I ask, probably a stupid question from someone who came in late, but the subject of reports, I'm not sure which one this was, but we were really curious, is that biannual report we give to you after each semester, what is that called?
The data supplement?
Yes, if we could ever have a canned report up there so we can just kind of press a button and get those numbers, because it feels like we hunt and peck, and Annabelle has taken it on, but she's not like a data person. So she's becoming a data person.
So I did do that, and hopefully it does work. So I created a
yay.
Yeah. So in all folders, you can go here and just go to data supplements, and yeah, that will just pull. So like high square. So I created one for 2021, and then these three are the big ones that we keep track of. And you would just click it, and then it would show you the numbers, and that would be able to help you populate that supplement. Yeah. So hopefully that's helpful, but if it's not, just do let me know, and then we can figure something out, because I know when I had to do those can be frustrating for sure. So I have been trying to make them more easier to fill out, and also if there needs to be more time, be flexible with the that deadlines for sure.
One, could you do that again? Could you show me that again, where you got that? So all folders.
I'm just kidding, I will. So you just go to all folders, and then right here, data supplements. So mine's gonna look different because I have access to all folders, like all folders. So you might not have this, but these should,
I see it.
These should be public. So this one, you just go to data supplements, and then you go to your folder. And even if you go to like a different organization, you can click theirs, but it won't populate because you don't have access to other students. So that's why I made these public as well. But yeah, you just go to Westinghouse and 2019 if you want to go for 2019 for some reason. But yeah, that's how you would do it. All right, what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, reports. So let's do EMR color. So the next thing was data visualization. So it's charts and graphs. So an easy way to do this is just go to report, and you don't even have to go to edit. You can just go to up here on the top right where it says add chart. Once it lets me. And then that's an easy way to do this. And then there's multiple settings where you can be like, oh, well, I want to do a donut because I'm hungry. And like that's you can do that. Like, oh, bottom line is 209 and da, 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 da. So you can do that way. There's multiple types of charts that you can do. This one, it separates it by cohort. So this is 06, this is 05, you know, that type of thing. But that's pretty basic for the way you can do that. Lines, I don't think would really be that useful for count. This is more for something by time. So like your transition supports by month, that's where I use a line chart. But this is usually more donut or column chart. But yeah, that's the easy way to do some data visualization. I don't know. I know, Joel, was that you who asked for data visualization? Maybe it was Portia, I'm not sure. But does that get to the point? All right, cool.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if you're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, just turn it off. So that's the data visualization. Oh, and then the data supplements. I just went through those, but yeah, just go back to reports. And then there's also some public reports that you can probably go into and then try to edit. Something that I've done for everybody is like class of 2020 for each one. You can just see some other people, like how many students have not had a support in 45 days, that type of thing. So you can try to figure something out with that. If you don't feel comfortable creating one out of like by scratch, you can go into another one and just like edit and customize it to your own cohort, your own organization, and whatever you're trying to look for. Yeah, data supplements. That's what I had. Some to-dos I'm going to do for this. I'm going to add some fields to the semester admitted. So for here, where are we? Oh my Lord, where am I? Oh, right here for the recruitment information. So I'll add another field just to see maybe underneath each one, Bunker Hill enrollment semester, something like that, just to see when they are admitted, because we do have students who are in multiple institutions, or they finish at one place and they go somewhere else, wanting to keep track of that because that's important. And then for the college enrollment history, adding some fields for dean's lists, SAP, probation, maybe. So I'll figure something with that. But is there anything else for this? Is there anything more in the weeds or detailed that you all want? Happy to, because we got 15 more minutes if people have more questions. No dumb questions. I'm still learning. Like I had to figure out this degree earn thing, and I took me way too long to figure it out, and I had to get help from someone else. So
I have question one. This is specific to the data supplement report. I'm looking at the, okay, which report is this? Progress for spring 2021.
yeah.
And the enrollment section, is that pulling from the previous semester? Or is that, I don't know if.
I believe so. So
Okay, I guess that would make sense because we haven't put in information for the spring 2021 yet.
Right. And most of those, they pull from the past 4 semesters to see like if they keep persisting. So for your second year students in their 4th semester, like did they all persist to 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th? So I can show you the way they actually, the logic behind it. It's which one was it? Progress? Yeah.
The progress one, yeah.
So these do get tricky because they're not as basic as the other ones where you just pull fields into things. This one you have to do like some equations more or less. Or I guess these maybe not, maybe the other ones do. But
Well, I was asking because I figured it was pulling from the previous semester because I'm thinking about like.
So this one it pulls from fall 2020 and spring 2021. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And there's not anything yet for spring 2021. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Those like those 2 students were part-time in the fall.
Yeah.
But they're full-time now. But I guess you would know that because there's no data.
Don't have that information, right? So
Got it.
and because progress is about continuing with credits, you want to see how many credits they've been earning on average. So that's been pulling from the past 2 semesters just to see where they're at right now. Yep.
Okay, that's super helpful.
Yeah. And again, if they can be more helpful, tell me like what, oh, we need to make sure to add this as well, like to try to do something with that. I think the performance one, the one about GPA and like above 2.0, below 2.0, that's the stuff where it does get complicated with the equation model. This one gave me trouble at first. Not gonna lie, because it's like all this silly stuff. But yeah, now you're able to see like, okay, these are students that don't have information on, they have under 2.0 or they have above a 2.0, and then what semester they were at and which cohort. So that's helpful to see like, oh, okay, well, we need to reach out to, then you can click there and they'll shoot the 3 students who are there. Like, oh, great job on doing well this semester. You know, keep it going, XYZ. You're like, oh, hey, I saw that you struggled this semester. Is there anything we can do to get you better prepared for this upcoming one? Something like that. You all know what to do better than that.
And the detail rows populates more information. So that was helpful for me to see specifically what student.
Yeah. So, and yeah, when you do the detailed rows, that's when it populates the actual names and information for sure. Yeah. I took that away from here so it wouldn't be sharing as much student data on a recording. But yeah, that's how it works. Yep. All right, 10 more minutes if people got questions. I'm happy to figure out. And if I don't know, I will struggle through it with you. So if there's something else that comes.
I think I'm all set. This was really helpful though. I appreciate the going through all the folders. It's nice to see there's some like pre-generated reports that we can work with.
Yeah,
that's really helpful.
I do it all the time. I see some reports that were created way back in the day that I can be like, oh, I can just edit this and update it for now, and ends up working. So yeah, feel free to do that. As long as you save it as a new report, it should be fine.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thanks again.
When I had one other question.
What's up?
So for cohort,
yeah,
just in general, some students are not popping up on the 06 cohort. I think because I think I'm pulling, oh no, I think just they don't have anything for cohorts. I usually pull a report from the recruitment cohort, which does show 06. So they would not show up on this report if cohort was specifically 05 or 06.
Right, they would not show up. So I'll do that now. I'll run a report to see which students don't have a cohort populated but are confirmed and do have a recruitment cohort. And then I'll make sure to update that so people can have that accurate information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I hope it was helpful. Maybe it went over everybody's head. I hope not, but I will be uploading this on YouTube so people can come back to it and see like, oh, I didn't hear this part because something was distracting me and want to make sure to go back to it. But yeah, that's all I got. Our next coaches meeting is in May. We're going to be talking about career access and career the workforce pretty much. So I'm going to be reaching out to a few folks to see if they have any suggestions or recommendations on folks to reach out to. We're going to be talking with Hack Diversity, so another tech company who connects graduates with opportunities in software engineering, computer science, that type of thing. Going to talk with them. Nesson, who has some internships that they want to provide they want to connect with Success Boston to see if students who are interested in like broadcasting, audio, video, tech work, if they want to do something there. And then bottom line, their career connections team might help us out with a few things that they're working on. But if anybody else has any resources or opportunities, Portia, thank you for connecting us with Year 13. That sounds like an awesome opportunity for a bunch of students, and hopefully we can get some young people into that. But if folks have other people who wanna connect me with or wanna give more a spotlight to, yeah, feel free to email me later or send me a chat. But thank you.
Is this next meeting the next monthly meeting? Great.
Yep.
Great. Thanks.
All right, y'all. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Juan. This was helpful.
Thank you.
Glad to hear that.
Juan.
Have a good day. Thank you, Juan.
Have a good one. See you, everybody.
Yeah.